recording right now. I'm the only person in the basement right now, so I have to keep it a lot quieter than I normally have to. Granted, probably by like map 4 of Brand Thatcher, I'll probably be talking at normal volume because I'll probably forget to be whispering or like quiet yelling. I don't know what you'd really call this tone of voice. So we're back with the More Human Than Human show, with the alien and the 3 metahumans leading the way, followed by the one that we don't actually know, followed by a hedgehog, and then I don't really know about everyone else. I don't really know about that. But Danny and Alex are definitely humans, as are Captain Falcon and Bert. Number 1 is just a bald kid, but it takes all kinds here in Universe Zero, clearly. Some hearing like clicking and clacking noises. I have like die-cast NASCARs on the table next to me. I just got them at Walmart earlier today, so until I figured out which to do with them, I just leave them here. Oh, Rip Blossom. She's making no, that's not Blossom. They're not in those lotuses anymore. Number 1 over the other girls. The girls in general aren't really much better, but this is their favorite track. And oh, interesting. Must be a chance for Shadow to gain some ground in the championship. I think he's in 6th, behind or 5th, behind the girls and Burn. Just realized like there's the only robot here. Get some flames. And yes, I make that joke every time. I don't want to hear it. Hush. Well, Sonic has gotten to their turn 1 in the lead. He hasn't really got a chance to show this stuff yet. He's just been kind of getting past. 4GT40 isn't the monster it was in other acts in this one, because the stakes are considerably higher in this one. Turn the volume down. I had it up earlier because I was trying to hear some in-game sound effects from a game. Being it was a shooter, being able to hear your enemy's footsteps running toward you and attempting to murder you is kind of helpful. As you might expect. Oh, hi Burn. Already making plays. To be brutally honest, there's a good part of me that never wants this to end, and I guess in theory it never has to. It's just a matter of Act 21 would definitely be the end for now, and anything I do from here on out would either be as a joke or shorter acts that have maybe even fewer than 15 drivers. But I don't think I can even really afford to do that, because otherwise these races are going to get boring when there's less opposition Vert's going for a pass. Didn't see that coming. Maybe he's up Shadow. That's not the road. All right. He is out of chaos control right there and just demolished Captain Falcon. For a minute, all the girls were in a row, and then Falcon sat between Bubbles and Buttercup here. I don't think he'll be there long though. Sonic still leads. Alex right there, and Carbon right behind him, but let's see what Burn can make out of that. He'll make sit and wait, and then pull aside, and then do nothing. Carbon almost cut him off, but then realized he was there and was like, nope, I don't want to go in the sand. Still, he does nothing. And he's also passed me when I was not looking. Now the girls are in a row again. Bubbles probably took Falcon down the decently long straight there. Yeah, there's a part of me that's kind of wanting this to get over. Kind of why I'm taking the mild risk of recording this at 3:30 in the morning with my mom home. Allegedly permanently? Never really know what the heck happened. Oh, never mind there. The starting grid order is just out of whack. It said for a second that Alex was in third and Carbon second, but that is totally not it. And speaking of Alex, though, it's almost as if on cue. You look at him, and he makes the pass for the lead. Sonic is not pleased, but no, there wasn't a lane there. Burn also did the same to turn 1 on Carbon. We have a Hotel California here with Vert and the Powerpuffs. Basically, so obviously Vert is a surfer, skateboarder, extreme events type guy from California somewhere. I don't know what town. I don't think they ever specify in World Race. But he's on Highway 1. And Townsville is kind of based on a mixture of Seattle and LA. And a little bit of Sacramento in there, I think, as well. The fact that it has a Chinatown almost makes you think that it's San Francisco, but that's what the town of Citiesville is San Francisco. Because Townsville is completely flat. There aren't any big hills in the streets or anything like that. Also, Burn, I imagine, just took second, yes. F1 is but mere cannon fodder for this Jupiterian. Seems like that would be the word you would use for that, right? Jupiterian. Bubbles with the fastest lap in 9th. Minute 36 lap. Granted, Burn and our sisters are in traffic, and by traffic I mean Burn or myself. This race isn't quite long enough. If this were a 6-lap race, I would think Blossom could maybe squeeze a podium by chance. But you'd have to be pretty quick about getting around me and Carbon for that. She's not even being very quick about getting around to me, and I, rather not effective car. Ugh. Could you not? Just do it already. I do keep it on the road, which some drivers can't do that. Vert remains in 7th. He's keeping the other two behind him. Buttercup do something this time? She's already roughed him up a little bit, so probably so. And here we go. And Vert does manage to stay out of the grass, crucially for him. And we got a title battle right here between Alex and Byrne. These two. We all know their history by now, do we not? I don't even have to say anything about why this is interesting. Byrne already just looking to get it done before we even get to the turn. And he does. I can't imagine the girls enjoy that. They do probably enjoy passing him, though. It probably feels real nice. I don't think, though, that her sisters, or her for that matter, will get any higher. Unless Blossom pulls something nutty into the final corner, assuming she catches Sonic in time for that in the first place. I think 4th is her limit here. And I don't think Buttercup will be getting any higher than, or the other two will be getting anything better than 7th, 8th, unless Buttercup really catches me in like the next 20 seconds. Which, I mean, she kind of has. So, starting 8th, Byrne has made his way up with the use of Lamborghinis as usual to win here. And Blossom will take 4th. Another lap, and she could easily have had a top 3. I take a record 6th with Buttercup literally right there, and Bubbles also right there. So, I was about to say, you're probably asking yourself. You're probably not. But I'm going to answer the question that you don't have anyway, because conversation topics are important when, you know, doing commentary. It's certainly commentary if you're not talking, so that's just kind of the fundamentals of how that word works. The idea of the final act, like this is the big kind of battle between Carbon and a lot of the main drivers that have stuck around through a lot of the races. The reason why those Hot Wheels characters are the ones that are here, Alex, XT3, Vert, that, and Byrne, and did I say Danny already? I think I did. Yeah, Alex, Danny, Byrne, XT3, and that are the 5 Hot Wheels characters of choice for this, is because they're the ones that I think have only been kind of flagships of the series, but have also kind of shown up the most. Also Vert, but that's just because Vert's gotten like no attention lately. But yeah, so Alex, we should sing qualifying and see if I can actually watch the drivers as they as I talk about them, and actually get the correct HUD. Hang on, I gotta change my camera to back. I don't understand why it does that. Yeah, so Alex, of course, he's won like 5 championships in these Ferraris. Well, unfortunately for him, this one doesn't quite make the same level of success as his F40 or as FXXK did when he drove that in Act 5. 4 or 5. No, it was 5. 4 was Grand Touring. I don't remember what he even drove in that. If he was even in that at all. I do believe his team won the team championship in couples racing Act 6. I just smacked the microphone by accident. Yeah, the 458 of him and Byrne. And of course we have Byrne. First of all, he drives the Countach, which, along with the Crossbow and the RX-7 now, kind of are the omnipresent cars of the series. crossbow for how many different drivers have used it, totaling 5 now. And if you count the little end credits at the end of Act 10, or, well, actually Act 11, but chronologically 10. The little end credits thing joke with the little song I linked in the description of that video. There were also 3 more with Raceman and, Alex and myself driving it. So technically 8 different people have driven a crossbow. Also, I just realized this is actually counting as a qualifying lap for them. So let me just restart so that we don't have anything unfair. And I'll just do it on the starting grid. Yeah, so we have... Well, Shadow is here because of Sonic, more or less. Both because he's the anti-hero, so he has to compete with Sonic, but also because he wants to help everyone else that's here. Get rid of the bigger problem, Carbon. Powerpuff Girls, obviously because of their own personal disagreement with Carbon, plus, you know, being very, like, against conflict. I was gonna say pro-conflict. I mean, it's for. I mean, obviously against conflict now. Depending on how you looked at it, they weren't before. Usually they saw monsters invading as opportunity to have fun with it, but obviously they enjoy being a superhero. They probably wouldn't do it. But anyway. Well, actually, no. It's their other choice to do it or not. Anyway, of course, I'm here. My side character, my self-insert, has gone from running gag to actual part of the plot with relationships to different characters like the Powerpuff Girls and, well, there's supposed to be one between a couple of the Hot Wheels characters like Alex and Raceman. I have Captain Falcon because Fiddler. Sonic once again making the whole last second appearance to save the day joke that Smash Brawl had. Obviously Carbon has to be here because he's the villain, even though he hasn't shown up in 12 acts because he got defeated in Act 10. Like I said, Vert because he hasn't gotten much attention recently. Danny because he won the first championship. He's won several races in the same server. He's still driving now, so almost a little bit fitting for him that he ends where he started. That, well, despite being kind of the villain, not villain of the series, other than like characters like Shadow or Otto, who would be normally but aren't now because of the whole Carbon thing. Need to get out of here before they can actually take over their own universe. XC3 because of, you know, it's the whole thing of A, him improving, B, him being possibly the best robot driver here in Universe Zero. He really has taken a liking to these, I was gonna say Earthbound, like standard fare non-Hot Wheels cars like this one here, or the other 15 on the grid in front of me. But number 1 has 2 reasons. 1, he was summoned to assist by Powerpuff Girls and by Dexter and Ben 10 and all them. Because of course this is the main battle. But Carbon does have those henchmen. And some other drivers, you can imagine like your Gearhead, Metacog, So Fast, your Dexter, Samurai Jack, etc. They're all dealing with those henchmen. Hello, that. I didn't see that coming. Or hi, Burn. And poor Buttercup is also last. She needs to just kind of follow Burn through the field as she can. No, XC3 is denied that path. She should probably still be able to get around number 1. Especially when you do that. Actually, you know, maybe that was planned, because she just bumped him back ahead of XT3. Haha, cute. It's a Powerpuff 1-2, even though Bubbles is trying to run away. But yeah, number 1 is a little bit against Sand's conflict, of course, himself being the combatant that he is in his own show, but also just because he's getting stressed out. The guys at some of the KND operatives are becoming a little bit corrupt, a little bit short-tempered nowadays with the war having ended a couple of weeks ago. With that, no, a little longer than that. But anyway, the higher-ups in the KND organization, even though he's called #1, there are definitely higher-ups than him. Which is weird, because their random numbers, like, I think number 86, I believe, is one of those kind of operatives that are like one of the kind of commanding generals, as if you will, of the kids next door. And they especially have been getting even more strict and hard-arsed about it because of what they've gone through with having to deal with the, you know, a war. Oh, hi. Oh, XC3 is now also giving some aggression. #1 is just getting bullied. He's probably regretting his decision right now, but I assure you, it's the correct choice. It's probably better than the nonsense you'd be getting from #4 and number 86 right now. Because #4 has also gotten a little bit strict on it. Because #3 was kind of hurt, and so therefore #4 was taking care of her and doesn't like being disturbed while he's, you know, tending to her. So he just uses the coping device. He's invited the other drivers when they're not drivers yet, idiot. Operatives to join him when they can, because this is their own fight. This is another fight that can be fought and should be as well as can be. It's obviously not urgent. It's not in Sector 5 or anywhere near that. Carbon is an adult, but guess what? So are most of the drivers here. Any ones that aren't by that definition an adult would be 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, I guess 7th, 9th, 11th, and technically I guess 14th and 15th. So yeah, half the drivers here are definitely adults. But I assume it's sort of like that's just the generic term for villain, and not like, oh, you are above 20. Jesus, Carbon. That's wait, that's in character. Never mind. First, it's like, this is weird. This is weird coming from you. No, it isn't. Bye, Sonic. You're too slow. That was the low-hanging fruit. You gotta understand. That was absolutely necessary. So Sonic is able to stretch his legs now. He's gotten a couple of good starting grid spots. Alex looking set for another solid result, given what I said about his car falling slightly short. It is Alex. I mean, a less than ideal car can only hold him back so much. Was he going faster than Blossom? Okay, no. He's not. He's really not that much slower, though. Buttercup is approaching a righteous traffic jam up here. Burn, Carbon, Vert. Serving that order. See if Carbon does something crazy again. No, it's Buttercup actually that's going further. She will take that and leave. Not sure what he was trying to do before I led him right into Vert's exhaust pipes. You know, the other two power-ups are having a nice, calm race up in the lead. Red Bull isn't usually even their track. I thought about ending it here, but after the success of... Wait a minute, that's not even the end. What am I talking about? What even is the end of this championship? I don't remember anymore. I know it's not this. I know it's not Mugello. It's not Nürburgring. That's in the middle. I think. I think it's round 8, so it'll be next episode. I don't remember what's after this either. I should really be able to remember this. I'm just not. Well, when did that happen? I gotta see this. How did Buttercup get around Burn, of all people? Here she is on Falcon. I'm getting meat on the straight. It's just the almighty traffic jam where she just kind of sent it on Carbon. She looked poised to almost try and dive completely off the track to try and get around Burn and Vert. And she outbreaks Vert pretty easily here. And Burn throws himself offline trying to do something on Shadow, and Buttercup will just seize that opportunity. Buttercup definitely the opportunist of her sisters. Regardless of at whose expense, if the show's proved anything. And Buttercup and Burn not too far off of the anthropomorphic duo up there. And I'm still gonna score, I think. I'm a little bit slow. Let's see, what will Carbon do this time? Will we do anything? Or will we actually remain calm this time? He won't. He will not. It didn't do anything. Vert's car is heavy, and Vert himself is very prepared for attacks. If you've seen anything from Excel Racers or World Race, he's dealt with his fair share of enemies. Not necessarily combat, just more like evasive maneuvers, defensive driving, the like. Well, Buttercup easily cleared Shadow, but Burn is having significantly more issues. If Shadow can manage to stay there, if he can actually hold off Burn, that is an impressive thing for the debutante here. I don't think that's the word for that. I don't think he can though. Too much speed, unless he really outbreaks him here. He might. He'll try. No, it won't matter. Even if he can hold on the outside with his handling, but as soon as you get to the straightaway. Unless Burn really got a really bad wiggle there, but I don't think that's enough. It'll be a drag race, but no, Burn will just get it. Shadow honestly deserved that more than Burn did, but was not to be. I will score number 1, despite being assured that he is indeed making the good battles here. It's nothing more than the stress relief right now. At least that's probably what it seemed like to him. Ah, classic Silverstone. Yeah, there's no choice. What is the finale? Oh yeah, I'm right. I ended on the track, so I won't be coming back after this. So it's a pretty decently close championship fight here. Mathematically, Buttercup could take the points lead if Burn and her sisters don't score much. However, this track is kind of designed for, well, really all 4 of their cars, but more so Burn, because it has slightly better power, I think. I don't know, I guess we'll see when we get to Monza, who has the better, like, more powerful car. I think Burn actually has more handling, and the girls have slightly more power. It's because the downforce isn't dragging them down. It's both a fact and a joke. Probably what they call it, aero drag. And lights. Well, I don't think if Buttercup is going to take it, she's not going to do it from there. Not from last. Oh, actually, both her and Bubbles are in the back row. They're at the XT3. Falcon, Blossom, Shadow front row. So in other words, Blossom's going to get to turn 1 first, I would assume, with her extra horsepower. I didn't get many flames there. I couldn't get some flames. Yeah, Blossom just out of here. Look at that. I mean, in character, Alex actually gets a better start than Burn. Vert also tries his luck on him. Didn't take. Well, actually, it did kind of take. And, well, actually, Vert needed Falcon to stay in that lane. Otherwise, if he had, he might have been able to clear him, but Falcon moved over to fall in line with Alex and was immediately demolished by Burn down the straightaway. Shadow defending for his life. One kind of incidental thing that occurred to me while, like, after I added him was the whole, a lot of people on the internet, which, I mean, that in itself is kind of a scary statement to say. But that's like something I'm basing things off of, is people on the internet, which is not really a valuable source of information and opinions, to say the least. Well, Buttercup has made no progress, but Bubbles has gained 7 positions. How does that even happen? Oh, I get it now. Every time she's probably had an advantage over somebody, there's also been somebody already passing that car. That's been kind of getting in the way, and Bubbles has not had those same problems. Up here, getting around the fastest thing alive, or trying, but not really room for it when Falcon and Vert are having their own measurement contest up there. Alex takes second from both Shadow and Burn. Not sure how that happened. And Blossom needs to take this chance while Alex is fending off the alien to make good her escape plan. If she wins the race and Burn remains in second, they will tie. They will have a tie in points. Otherwise, if Alex stays ahead, Blossom with 2-point lead. If if Burn manages to pass them both, then it's going to be a 6-point advantage to Burn. Vert and Bubbles are having at it. That would also do well for Blossom if Alex can block Burn long enough for Bubbles to get there. Put him out of line, force him to do awkward maneuvers just to even keep ahead of, or try and regain that position that he's in now. That'll kind of impede him from gaining more. I think another example of the fact that Burn's car is just as much handling as it is speed. Alex might also have the really good AI in this race. Like, you know how it is for some cars have really good performing AI that are slightly better than average, and some might not. Like XT3 right now. His car isn't slow. I don't know why he can't gain positions. He's in last in, well, at least top speed-wise, 6th or 7th best car here. Handling's not great, but you should have plenty of speed. Maybe just the problem of I'm trying to pass that. He can't pass one, or I'm trying to pass number 1. He can't pass 1 because the other one's trying to pass the first car, so he just kind of is stuck. It's just 4 seconds between Bubbles and getting in Burn's way. Alex actually isn't... Burn isn't even threatening Alex's position right now. Alex is just straight up faster than him. So now it's the matter of how well does she clear Shadow. And how well does, and how well can she track down Burn with the 3-ish minutes left of race time to go? Well, closer to 4 for the moment. Another kind of added additional thing is a lot of people actually tend to, for some reason, compare the upbringings of Shadow the Hedgehog and the Powerpuff Girls, which I can almost see it. Artificial creation, basically invincible, or at least very strong. Overall, the good guy, but they can be morally incorrect. Both kind of had this upbringing of initially world hates you, now doesn't. I mean, they're not anti-heroes, the girls, they're definitely the hero. It just sometimes they get out of line because they're naive. Shadow gets out of line, and he knows full well that he is. He just is doing it because he can. So I don't think, given her issues with Shadow here, I mean, they're about to end, said issues, but she's gonna have to catch like 2.5 seconds in a lap. Shadow can also be in the way, but not for very long. I should have to catch 2 seconds in 1 lap or so, and her lap times are only like half a second faster than Burn's. Burn is right here. In a corner, Bubbles can pretty much see him clear as day. I wanted to give him the day is definitely not clear here, but Blossom starts her final lap. Her fastest lap is absolutely ridiculous. Bubbles isn't much slower. Yeah, her fastest lap is only about 0.8 of a quicker than what Burn can do. So with a 6-lap race, possibly. But on 1 lap, there's no way Bubbles has the opportunity. However, what is set in stone, basically, is Blossom has, for all intents and purposes, already won the race. And with Alex actually remaining in second versus Burn here, that'll net her a 2-point advantage. I also completely neglected Buttercup because she had such a slow start, but she almost got up to 4th herself, or up to 5th herself. Again, another lap, and I have no doubt in my mind that Buttercup would have been right on Shadow's back bumper. She probably actually will be by the line, but she just obviously won't have the time to pass him because the race is over. Obviously. As one of my friends actually said earlier during a league race I meant, thank you for the Captain Obvious. Which doesn't make any sense. Shadow, where'd you learn to brake? Alright, I did terrible. Probably the second slowest car in a straight line. Number 1, apparently better at defending positions than me. I apparently tried there, I guess. I got nowhere. Motor. And there's the 2-point gap. Bubbles is now 10 back from Burn. Buttercup is 20 away from the points lead, and Alex almost caught her in points. No man, I would almost consider doing a double upload right now, but I don't really think I have time. Yes, next up we have Magion. I don't know which one it is. Nordschleife in the middle of the championship. And Imola. So, one I don't expect much out of this thing, and then it can be attrition, but sometimes it can also be absolutely abysmal when it comes to on-track events. It really depends on how the start goes. And also, after much more consideration, I actually think Byrne would kind of have a significant respect for the girls. Because of the fact that, well, it's partial fear, but I think more so respect, because I think I mentioned before the whole fusion fall thing with, in Universe Zero's timeline, the girls, sick of the nonsense, went up there to Planet Fuse themselves and just shut him the hell down. Buttercup didn't go missing, but instead of Buttercup, they lose Professor because Mojo stabs him in the back while they're literally saving the entire planet. By defeating Fuse, all the other cat-collected planets were, freed, a matter of speaking. And this included Jupiter, which you could actually see in the kind of art for Planet Fuse in just about anywhere. Like, even if you look up into the sky from Fusion Fall, in Fusion Fall, you'll see the planet looming above Earth. Yeah, so technically the girls saved him, or saved his home planet. I don't know if they saved him. I don't think he was there at the time. He was probably racing, if I had to assume, on Earth. Probably like some Dark Challenge, or time frame being close to when a Dark Challenge, or that type of thing was happening. And I think I mentioned this, like I don't think I could have. I added a few last minute characters to Time Loop. And since I can't really add them into the video, post-upload, I'll just name them and the vehicles they'll end up in. The first one is Madison. Is going to take the 46 Cadillac to add a second Cadillac. Main reason for her returning, just actually to take another Cadillac, if I'm perfectly honest. That's the biggest reason. I wanted someone who would drive a Cadillac. Because, of course, canonically, this was supposed to be like the whole... She races because this would be the last chance that her and I would get to see each other. She moved away. And all that stuff. Shadow and Sonic are also coming. Sonic takes the number 0 Ferrari, Shadow the number 75 Acura. You can call those three the last minute recruits, I guess. Along with number 1. Deliverance, who's basically done nothing since Act 4. He's going to be in the number 28 Porsche. Spent all this time elaborating on what he was, or who he was, and then I used him like a handful of times. Figured I had to rectify that in some way. So he's coming with us to Time Loop, but he won't be a big character unless he appears as an opponent. Then we have Grim from the Grim Rivers of Bill and Mandy, who's sort of sensed a disturbance in the universe finally, with what Paradox and Carbon have been messing around with in Time Loop. So he sees fit to stop them himself. Billy and Manny are just kind of letting this happen, I guess. They didn't elaborate on it yet. He hasn't really met the drivers, he's just kind of there. He's confirmed to appear at some point. And Grimm, not to be confused with Mr. Grimm from Twisted Metal. And then the last one is Battle Rocket is the last minute. The last minute responder. And he will take the 21 Renault, similar to that taking the 25 Renault. The idea of that henchman name being like Battle Rocket to me just seemed like too convenient of a thing, of an event. So I'm just like, you know, let's use that, because it mixes both of them into one. It is an established character in both series that I haven't really used, and so I figured I might as well. Perhaps that with Burn is kind of why, with the whole freed home planet thing, Burn might have a very positive outlook towards the girls. The only thing he might have to fear about them is, he's not a malevolent alien in any way. He is a little aggressive. He's not the friendliest guy, but he's not, he's on the right side. So, I mean, that's kind of the most important thing. At least to a superhero, you don't have to be incredibly friendly as long as you're not a criminal. But the girls are known to be very aggressive to alien invaders, and while, of course, Burn isn't with the intention of invading, the idea that they can take down an entire alien civilization if they wanted to, and have at one point or another with the Brockloids, probably kind of instills in his mind a sense of, oh god, no. It's been thought that maybe the girls got weaker as they aged from 5 to 14 or 13. Well, 14 because time has passed since Fusion Fall. It's been only a month, but it's passed. Time passes faster in Universe Zero. The precursor is not only a month before the actual Velocity War breaks out, but canonically is about 2 weeks after World Race, and World Race is about a month and a half or so before Fusion Fall happened in that timeline. Even though there's no way of proving that it will, because I'm not going to record PC gameplay. Even if it did. Even if I could or wanted to. All it really is I can't really change the events of the game in it. The way the game is played is the way the game is played. I'm not just gonna... Because Universe 2 has a similar event. Except for there is a player character, and then everything else that happened in Universe 0 happens in Universe 2. Dexter's parents are gone. Ben 10 and Bubbles are a thing. Blossom and Dexter are a thing. I guess Buttercup and Ace are also a thing, technically. Because even literally in the game, Ace refers to, well, Buttercup's rockstar alter ego, Belladonna, as my girl, which I think is supposed to insinuate that. At least he waited. I don't know how Ace has not aged and Buttercup has. And how Dexter has aged from like 6 to 13, but Bubbles or the other girls went from 5 to 14, and Ben 10 stayed at 16, and it doesn't make any sense! Paradox, I blame you! And of course, the biggest one being the girls lose Professor. But yeah, I can't change that. I can't. It's like I can put in some sort of scene where Mojo goes and eliminates the Professor. There's like I can put in a scene where, like any kind of scenes of Blossom and Dexter, or Bubbles and Ben 10 being in any way romantic, acting even in any way, shape, or form outside of purely professional. Every other thing that happens in a Let's Play, I can, in some way, shape, or form, prove has happened. Some of them easier than others. Like, for Universe 2, I don't even know if I'm going to play Universe 2, Board Race Universe 2, but Universe 0, it's been mentioned the same results happen, which means I have to win the Rookie League as Vert, the Veteran League as Alex, and the Elite League as So Fast, again. If I played it for Universe 2, I would have to win the Rookie League as Danny, and the Veteran League as Alex, and the Elite League as Burn. But then at the same time, the other opponent's Vert would have to be in the Rookie League, and So Fast would have to be in the Elite League with me. And that would also have to be in there as well. So and of course there are things I can decide as I go along, but like obviously the results of the Velocity Wars haven't been resolved, and the precursor is exactly that, and there is no winner. If anything, what So Fast did by winning the most recently is a step towards peace. I should probably have had Burn win one last time, huh? I'm trying to think in my head of a way I could actually organize that kind of like who is winning now type thing, but I cannot for my life. And so I shall not. But yeah, so before I run out of episode time, this is the end of this episode of Act 20. And as I said, next time will be Magion... Magayon? I don't know. The Nordschleife, Nürburgring, Nordschleife, or Nürburgring North Course. Nordschleife is German for North Course. And Imola.